Did you notice that a certain Princeharry flew from LA all the way to Shanghai to apparently promote greener travel?
In hot air balloon, or did he fly in an aeroplane?
I think it was a jet, don't you, Tom?
Right.
Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, lands in Shanghai for the Envision 2025 summit. His private jet still roaring on the tarmac as he steps out to deliver a speech on greener travel. The cameras flash, the headlines praise his environmental leadership, and for a moment, he's the global changemaker he's always wanted to be. But then South Park the animated wrecking ball that spares no one drops a new episode titled Jet Race for Spotlight, and it doesn't just mock Harry's green crusade, it obliterates it. Prince Harry has spent years trying to carve out a new identity, a humanitarian, a thought leader, a voice for sustainability.
The majority of China is powered by coal, but they're going all in on nuclear, they're going all in on hydro, they're going all in on solar, they're going all in on gas. I mean, everything. They're just doing everything.
Yeah, which is fantastic, but you have sort of politicians going off there on all expenses paid trips.
His appearance at the Envision 2025 summit in China last week was supposed to be a defining momenter. Chance to prove he's more than a royal runaway, that he can lead on the world stage. The summit, a high-profile gathering of global leaders focused on climate innovation, seemed like the perfect platform. Harry's speech was billed as a rallying cry for sustainable travel, a nod to his Travalyst initiative that promises to make tourism greener. But there was a problem, one that critics had been whispering about for months. Harry flew to Shanghai on a private jetter mode of transport, so carbon-heavy it could undo years of eco-friendly efforts in a single trip. The irony was glaring, and South Park was ready to pounce. South Park has a reputation for cutting through pretense, but this episode is on another level. It opens with a cartoon Harry stepping off a private jet, his cape emblazoned with buzzwords like sustainability and eco-leadership flapping in the wind.
Straight away on what Prince Harry did.
Of course.
Let's do that as a start, and let's direct it directly to Prince Harry. Harry, stop being such a hypocrite.
He strides into the summit, delivering a speech that's little more than a string of vague platitudes. Let's build a greener future for the planet or something. The audience claps, but the camera pans to a group of coal plant workers in the background, rolling their eyes. The show doesn't stop there. It cuts to a montage of Harry jetting from summit to summit, each flight punctuated by a narrator's deadpan voice. The Duke of Sussex, saving the planet one private jet at a time. The satire is merciless, and it hits hard because it's rooted in a truth Harry can't escape. Here's the reality South Park is exposing. Harry's environmental activism doesn't match his lifestyle. He's the founder of Travalyst, a platform launched in 2019 to promote sustainable tourism. It's a noble idea encouraging travelers to make eco-friendly choices, but the initiative has been more buzz than substance. There's no evidence of large-scale impact, no major policy shifts, no reformed travel industries, just a website with pretty logos and vague promises. Meanwhile, Harry's own carbon footprint tells a different story. Reports estimate he's taken over 20 private jet flights in the past year alone, including this trip to Shanghai. That's thousands of tons of CO2 emissions, the kind of environmental damage that would take decades to offset with the tree planting schemes he loves to tout. The episode nails this contradiction with a single, devastating image. Cartoon Harry planting a single sapling while a jet engine roars overhead, black smoke blotting out the sky. It's almost too on the nose, but then again, so is Harry's hypocrisy. The Envision 2025 summit was meant to be Harry's redemption arc, a chance to show the world he's serious about climate change. But even before South Park got involved, the cracks were showing. His speech was a masterclass in saying nothing at all. He spoke of building a cleaner future and global cooperation, but there were no policy proposals, no measurable goals, just the kind of aspirational fluff you'd expect from a PR team, not a leader. Critics on the ground in Shanghai were quick to point out the irony. China, a country powering much of its economy with coal, is making tangible strides toward nuclear, hydro, and solar energy while Harry, the so-called eco-warrior, flew in on a jet that burned more fuel in one trip than most people use in a year. South Park distills this disconnect into a single line, delivered with deadpan precision. Prince Harry wants to save the world, but he can't even save his own narrative. It's a gut punch, and it's no wonder Harry is reportedly furious. According to insiders, Harry watched the episode in a private viewing, and his reaction was explosive. He called it a smear campaign, an attack not just on his activism, but on his integrity. Sources say he was incandescent with rage, pacing the room as he ranted about South Park's unfair portrayal. But here's the thing, when you put yourself on a pedestal, you invite the world to take a swing. And the world didn't hold back. Within hours of the episode airing, social media erupted. Hashtags like #JetRaceHarry and #EcoHypocrite were trending across the UK, Commonwealth countries, and even the US. Memes flooded. X1 showed cartoon Harry holding a Save the Planet sign while boarding a jet, captioned "Flying Green." One summit at a time, comment sections became digital battlegrounds, with some fans defending Harry's intentions, but most piling on with a mix of scorn and amusement. One viral post put it bluntly, "He's not an environmentalist, he's a frequent flyer," with the title. The laughter wasn't just entertainment. It was a collective recognition of a truth too obvious to ignore. This isn't the first time Harry has faced criticism, but never has it been this public, this viral, and this brutally accurate. Since leaving the royal family in 2020, he's tried to reinvent himself as a humanitarian and thought leader, but his efforts keep backfiring. His memoir spare alienated family and fans with its explosive claims. His Netflix docuseries felt more like a PR pitch than a real story, and now his environmental activism is being exposed as a sham. Harry wanted to be seen as a global changemaker, but more often than not, he comes across as tone-deaf, disconnected, and obsessed with controlling the narrative. The China summit was supposed to be a turning point, a chance to prove his relevance. Instead, it handed critics a silver platter of contradictions, a vague speech, a luxurious lifestyle, and a carbon footprint that undermines every word he says. South Park didn't create this mess, it just turned the volume up to 11. And what of the royal family? Buckingham Palace has stayed silent, as they often do when Harry stumbles. But insiders say there's a quiet satisfaction among royal traditionalists. For years, they've watched Harry air his grievances from Oprah to Netflix while painting himself as a victim of the monarchy. Now, as public sentiment shifts, his biggest threat isn't a palace statement, it's his own inconsistencies. The Queen's old adage of never complain, never explain feels like a relic of a bygone era, but it also feels like a lesson Harry never learned. South Park didn't damage Harry's reputation, it simply accelerated the unraveling of a public figure caught between idealism and indulgence. The palace may not say it out loud, but you can bet they're watching this unfold with a grim smile. In the end, Jet Race for Spotlight wasn't just an animated episode, it was a cultural mirror. It reflected the growing chasm between Prince Harry's words and his actions, challenging the narrative he's fought so hard to build. You can't preach sustainability from the cabin of a private jet. You can't claim leadership while delivering empty speeches. And you can't escape scrutiny when your entire brand is built on being heard. Harry wanted the world stage, and he's got it, but not in the way he imagined. This time, the spotlight didn't shine, it burned. Stay tuned, because if South Park has anything to say about it, the Sussexes saga is far from over.